Welcome back to BackTracks. I'm here with the one and only Alex Heiden, Mr. No Code Alex, as some of you may know. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you, bro. This is awesome.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, my name is Harrison Coley, and today we're going to explore a little bit of what makes Alex, Alex. So first and foremost, a little bit about your background, and I'd love to explore all of this. Former D1 athlete.
Yeah.
From D1 athlete, you then tried a bunch of stuff. You're like, Wi-Fi money sounds cool. Let me go do this internet thing. Tried that, didn't work out super good. So you got into sales. Sales turned into a sales agency.
Yeah.
That turned into a software that you successfully exited.
Yeah. And
now you build and release softwares.
Yeah.
Okay. That's amazing. Do you think it was the D1 part of your childhood and that athletic nature that has led you to be who you are today?
It's definitely a piece of it. Like I've definitely noticed, a lot of the people that I know that are successful, like even if they didn't play D1, like sports or some level, even if it was like gaming, like some level of like high level competition was like a part of their early life. So I definitely think that helps. And I was just always a super competitive kid.
Okay.
Like I hate losing.
Yeah.
Like still do. And like, it was like, like my least favorite thing ever. But then I think it's kind of like the way that my brain ticks is like, once I stopped playing tennis competitively, it just like business was like the new like scratch in my brain that like I had to like put focus into. Cause I like, if I don't have like something that I'm working towards, like I'll just implode.
Yeah.
You know
Worst thing in the world.
You know what I mean? Like that's like, I think that's when everyone like feels like depressed, it's actually just cause like they're not making progress anywhere. Yes. Like they're just not working towards anything. They're not progressing forward. And so they just feel depressed or like whatever. And I think that's like where a lot of this like, like mental health issues come from.
For sure.
And so I kind of knew for myself, like I even noticed before I even stopped, like because I started these companies while I was still in school.
Okay.
And so I love tennis so much growing up. Like, like other kids like might like sneak out to like do whatever. And it would like, I had to like sneak out of my house to like go play more tennis.
Dang. Okay.
Because I was only allowed to play like twice a week. Because my parents wanted me to focus on grades in high school, because in middle school I didn't get the best grades just because I didn't care. Yeah. And so they're like, in high school you got to get your act together, so like you can only play twice a week, or else, and if your grades drop, you're not gonna be able to play tennis. And so it was like I was like sneaking out to like play tennis.
Yeah, I'm sneaking out the window to smoke pot with my friends. You're sneaking out the window
literally
to play tennis.
And then
that's awesome.
It was like it was like I broke my arm. It's like I wasn't like supposed to do anything.
So it was forced retirement. Like it wasn't.
Oh no. This is like more of like relevant to like sneaking out, but like I wasn't supposed to like go do anything because I had just broken my arm. I had this giant sling on, and like I like rode my bike to like the tennis courts to like literally just go like hit with the ball machine. And like, my dad was like pissed because he was like, why? Like if you would have fallen and like broken your arm worse, like 'cause it was a giant sling, like because I hadn't gotten my cast on yet. Like I like literally just broken it like the day before or something. So it was like this giant sling. So I don't know, like that was just like a funny story.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Do you find yourself being the same level of like obsessed where you're literally willing to put your life or your health at threat? Do you find that same level of obsession with business?
It's definitely similar. I definitely wouldn't like I know this is it's interesting because people have different takes on this, where some people are like, you literally just need to like lock yourself in your room and like just work, like screw like the gym, screw like going out, screw like friends, like all this stuff, like literally just like basically like, give a little leeway to your health and just focus on making money. Like I don't want to feel unhealthy. Yeah. Also like my physical health is like very important to me, and like not even like literally just like being healthy, but like for example, like I like to run. Yeah. So it's like if I go for a run and I'm noticeably slower than I used to be, I'm just like, damn, like this sucks. Like why am I slower? And like that'll bother me. So no, I definitely don't believe I would never like sacrifice my health, but I do believe that I am pretty obsessed about business in a similar way to what I was about tennis. Yeah,
and I think that comes with maturation, is like learning that certain things like just like health, right? It's like there's a saying of a man with no health has only one wish, but a man with health has 1,000 wishes. Yeah. It's like it had that to a degree has to come first, because it's like you have terrible health, you can't get up in the morning and actually get to work. And it's just like you learn to prioritize certain things, but I think there is a degree of healthy obsession that's required. Yeah, absolutely. And to your point about like running slower and depression coming from like a lack of progress, right? It's like that same thing of like you're going backwards. Exactly. I semi-retired last year and experienced that of like why am I so sad all the time now? And why does life like just generally feel worse? And it's like, because I'm not working 16 hours a day on something I'm obsessed with.
Right.
It was like very quickly like, oh yeah, maybe the recipe is just go back to doing something you're obsessed with.
Exactly.
Yeah, not that hard. So question for you on this level of obsession. I know you had a successful exit out of a software company last year. What was that transition in finding the next thing to be obsessed with?
Yeah, it was honestly so crazy because it was like, it's one of those things where it was luck, but I like put myself in a position to like get lucky. So I had really no plan after. I kind of just was like a little bit burnt out. Like I definitely wasn't like obsessed. I mean, I was for a bit, but then I was like, this isn't like what I want to do for the next like 3 years, the next 5 years. Like I really got good, luckily at a young age, of like thinking long term, like not literally just thinking, how am I going to make money this year? It's like, dude, it's like I'm 23. It's like, you know, I've got a long life ahead of me. So it's like, how do I make money for like the next 5 years, the next 10 years? Like what can I build that'll actually like really last and that I can see myself doing for the next 10 years without burning out.
It's good.
But so I didn't have that planned.
Okay.
I just knew like, yo, like I have time to like figure it out. But coincidentally, like a week after, I did a podcast actually with my buddy Presley. Yeah. And he was just a really nice kid that just moved to Miami, and he didn't have a big audience or anything. So like there was really like no tangible benefit of me going on it. Like I was literally just doing it because I was like, I like this kid. Like, sure, I'll like sit down and talk to him. Yeah. And then after he's like, do you want 3 free short form clips? Like that's what I do. And I was like, sure. And keep in mind, like it was funny because we're at this we're at this WAP event today. Yeah. And I met at least 1 or 2 people earlier that they were like, you were the one that started Closify? I've had no idea. Because like no one knew I owned Closify. Yeah. Like I was faceless. I was basically anonymous. And so like I say yes to these 3 short form clips. I'd never made video content before. I had no idea how to script like a short form video. Right. Obviously, you know, I had some knowledge of copywriting from just all the stuff that I'd done. But again, like it was very just like on the spot, no script. Okay, just let me think about something. Okay, I got an idea, ripped it all in one go. Like I'm not like doing multiple takes. I just do 3 videos and like 10 minutes left. He sends me them. I post it. The first one, it gets like, it's at like 5,000 views after a few hours. And I'm already adding like 200 followers. And I like text him like, yo, dude, this is crazy. Like 5,000 views. And then it's like 10. Yeah. It gets to like 20 and adds like 500 followers the first day. And then it like stalls for like a week or so.
You thought it was over.
And it just runs up to 1 million. And it adds like somewhere between 10 and 20,000 followers. And I go 0 to 100K on Insta in 95 days. And everyone's like asking me, where do you get your no-code devs? Because I was talking about no-code, obviously, because Closify was built on no-code. So I launched my no-code development agency. And it just took off. Like it was literally just like divine timing. Like there's really no other way to put it.
Oh, that's immaculate, man.
And it's like, again, I said I got lucky because 1, I was early to the no-code space, right? I was one of the first people to talk about no-code. But it's like, I would have never talked about that in the first place if I didn't start Closify in 2021 on a no-code platform. So it's like, if I would have stopped or given up or whatever back in 2020, beginning of 2021, like there would have been no code stories to tell in 2023 that would have made me blow up. Yeah. So that's why I say like I got lucky, but like, you know, again, if you look back, like I put myself in a position to get lucky.
It's like the 10 years to be an overnight success, right? Yeah. It's like you put in the work. You actually had done the repetition. Yeah. So you'd earned it. Yeah. Super important. When did you actually graduate college in this whole process?
I didn't graduate. So I actually I dropped out in April of 2021. I know it's also like another like very controversial like entrepreneur thing. Like everyone like loves to bash college and be like, oh, college is a scam and like all this type of stuff. And like, you know, maybe it is, maybe it's not. The reason I left was honestly just because of like, you know, the C word, like the whole thing that happened in 2020, it just got unbearable. You know, the classes became, my professors would literally just send me a YouTube video to watch. I'm like, you're not even going to make your own lecture. Like which I wasn't paying for my own school. I was very blessed to have my parents paying for it. And so I was like, my parents are paying all this money for you to send me like YouTube videos. And then my grades dropped because again, the business was doing well. And I was like, I'd rather make money now than like watch this YouTube video and do these tests. So my grades just got bad. And then my coach was like, you can't play tennis until your grades get up. And I was like, well, there's no more grades left this semester. And he was kind of like, okay, so you're probably just not going to play again this semester. I was just like, gotcha. And I just left the next day.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So as soon as tennis was off the table, college was too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, I think, fair in your circumstance. That's so interesting. So do you see yourself, obviously you built Closify, and then you became No Code Alex as the internet sees you today. Congratulations, by the way. I think
appreciate
absolutely insane.
Appreciate
it. It's so interesting. Do you see yourself, and now I know you're building other software companies, do you see yourself as more as a no code software founder, or do you see yourself as more as a content creator? How do you reconcile those two?
So I think it actually really helped me that I was like a true like business owner first. Like again, built Closify without anyone knowing who I was. I was like in the trenches doing cold outbound. Like I was doing the cold email. I made cold calls. I was doing LinkedIn outbound. Like I did, like, and I basically did it the hard way. And I've realized now, after having been on both sides, it is much easier with content.
Way easier.
It's way easier. But you still should do outbound.
Yes, back in the day.
You should still do outbound. I will still swear by that because you can send 60,000 cold emails a month for like $3,000 a month. Yes. And if you're a B2B business, and then doing content with your outbound amplifies it.
Yes.
Because then they look you up from your cold email, like, oh, dude, he's on this podcast. Oh, he's got a sick Instagram. He's got great YouTube videos.
Yeah. Oh, I can actually trust this guy. He's not a nobody.
So I would still say I see myself as a business owner first. Like, I think the content, I think it's even like what Hormozy says. Like, everyone's like, I've put out over, like, 1 to 2 videos a day on Instagram for over a year now. Like, I think I have like over 500 reels posted. And they're like, where do you like get all these ideas? And it's kind of like the same thing. It's like, I'm just running these different companies and I'm basically just sharing what I'm learning.
Yeah. It's the Gary Vee concept of document, don't create.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I'm just documenting what I'm doing and then it's out there for the world to see. It's pretty straightforward stuff.
So like, I would definitely say like, again, even Brett was talking about, there's people that are marketers and there's operators. Like I'm definitely a marketer. Like I'm definitely a creative. Like I definitely have vision. I think I have a good ability to like spot trends, not even trends, because like trends like come and go, but I think I have a good insight into like where just like markets are shifting. Like when I saw and discovered no code, like, it just made sense to me. Like there's certain things where, again, I kind of like that this podcast is called like BackTrack because I like to look back a lot. And so
it's important to do.
When I look back on certain things, you're just like, that was like so obvious. Like for example, Shopify was, when you look back, Shopify is such an example great company, because if you think about the way people used to do e-commerce before, like how many pains and hassles there had to have been to like be handling all the different logistics in a million different places, and even like build your website for e-commerce. Like people were, coding their websites even.
Yeah, hard coding for a dropshipping store. Oof.
And so then when Shopify made it drag and drop to build stores, templates, you have all these apps and plugins where you can run your entire business out of Shopify. It's like, that's obvious.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
It's like, it makes so much sense. And so I saw no code doing the same thing to software. And it's like, you're telling me now we can build software faster and more affordably with like pre-coded elements and things of this nature. And same thing like with Cursor and Create.xyz and these like text to app type of companies that are coming out now, where it's like you literally describe what you want to build and it codes it in the background in like seconds. Yeah. Again, it's like, these seem like very obvious shifts to me.
They can seem obvious, especially 2020, right? Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
Looking back on your own journey, when you were just starting Closify and you had just like kind of gotten into this world, did you see, like when you founded Closify, when you're starting to build it, were you like, I see that number one, software is becoming more accessible, and also there's a huge opportunity that's underserved to bring software into the sales world? Was that?
Yeah. So again, it was I was running a sales agency, and so we would charge $500 to $2,000 a month plus commissions, because we wouldn't just like staff them with salespeople. We'd work on sales process stuff, funnels, CRM, whatever. Yep. And as I was talking to more people though, or more companies that made more money, they were all like, "Listen, we don't want to hire your sales agency. We don't want to pay a retainer, and we don't want to pay you 20% commission where you're then splitting it 10 and 10 with the salespeople. Yep. We want in-house salespeople. If you can find us good salespeople, we'll pay you, because like they're hard to come by."
Yes.
And I kept hearing that, and I kept hearing that, and I kept hearing that. And then I started as a recruiter, and I was charging $5,000 per placement. and which is pretty expensive. At least I thought so. Like I thought like when someone paid me the first time $5,000 for one sales rep, I was like, this is kind of crazy. Yeah. Like, and then I kept hearing over and over, recruiters charge way too much money. They take way too long because it's, you know, they train their salespeople. Yeah. And so then the third complaint was the salespeople are trained, but they're not experienced. Mm-hmm. And almost every single time an experienced guy is beating the trained person. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, it's repetitions. It's like I could go watch like MMA videos for like 30 days straight. Yeah. And then I'm still going to get my ass kicked by like a guy that's like fought for like a week. You know what I mean? The guy that spent 7 days in the gym is going to whoop on you. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's real. So it's real. I was like, how do I make this faster, more affordable, and then like much more of a proven system where there's only experienced people and experience in their niche as well? Because I don't want to get a car salesman to start selling a B2B like marketing offer, like, you know, Facebook ads. Like that's probably not going to work. Yeah. Or the enterprise guy working with like the low ticket offers. Yeah. That don't translate. And so I was like, let me scrap together a crappy MVP on no code because I didn't have the money to pay for some, you know, fully fledged out software. Yeah. And basically it started off, we would manually verify their experience. So they'd have to show like either like their like call sheet or like a CRM logs or like commission payouts, like something to prove that they've done what they said they've done, even like a testimonial. And then we would like make them a profile that, and it was basically like, it was built on Stacker and Airtable, but like it was basically the Excel of like a spreadsheet with like 2 tabs, like business owners and salespeople, and it just like connected them. Yeah. But like instantly we had like such strong product market fit because everyone was like, wait, hold on. Like you're telling me I can hire someone that's experienced in like 1 week or less, and it's a fraction of what these recruiters are charging. Yep. And we're like, yeah. And so then it's just on both sides, business owners and salespeople. Business owners were like telling their friends, yo, I just got my sales guy in less than a week for like a fraction of what I paid for recruiters. Yeah. And then salespeople, we had people leaving their corporate jobs to get into Closify because all of a sudden it's like, we had like, I would say like the median salesperson in Closify probably would get like an OTE anywhere around like $5,000 to like $7,000 a month. Yeah. But we had like a few like people making like $50K a month. Yeah. And not even like what, like a lot of people say like they make $50K a month. They did it once. Like they made $50K a month for a year straight. Like, and that's, you know, all in their pocket, right? Surgeon money being a closer. And so you better believe like these guys that were like, because the hardest part about being a closer is finding a good offer. Mm-hmm. So they were like, you're telling me the offer comes to me? Yeah. And these are all good offers. So they were all telling their friends like, yo, you gotta get in Closify. Like it was getting to the point where like I had friends like in college that they're like, yo, guys in my dorm were like talking about Closify and like getting a sales job there and like stuff and like stuff like that. But so yeah, it had very strong product market fit. And again, I think I was able to see like, again, the way that I was thinking about it is like Fiverr is like this giant, these giant hiring platforms. There's Fiverr, there's LinkedIn like jobs, there's Upwork. Like it's this massive market. And like, I like to say you can create your own blue ocean inside of a red ocean. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the red ocean was like hiring platforms, recruitment, whatever. But no one was doing the niche hiring platform only for salespeople. Yeah, you were matchmaking specifically these two roles. That's huge. Yeah. Wow, that's absolutely fascinating. I have to ask, as such an obsessive guy, you have this super amazing offer. You've got perfect product market fit. Mm-hmm. You validated that it works. It's getting massive traction. Word of mouth is going crazy. Yeah. What made you decide to exit? Yeah, so it was interesting because we had like a team of like around 12 contractors. Like we had a couple setters, a couple closers, a sales manager. We had a project manager. We had a fractional ops guy. We had the dev team. Like we had all these people in place. And, you know, I had my business partners that were, you know, I had amazing business partners. And it got to the point where they were like, Alex, your job is like basically content now. Like you need to put out a lot of content about sales hiring. And all I had talked about for the first like 3 years of my entrepreneurial career was sales. Because the only place I ever had a following before I put videos out was on Twitter. I would like document my journey on Twitter. But so I'd made 1 million threads about hiring salespeople, sales systems. And I still don't enjoy it. Like I don't think sales systems is like cool or entertaining. You know what I mean? It's like something that I'm good at, but it's like not something that I like enjoy. And here you find your business partners forcing you into something that feels like. And it was funny. So I was paying a YouTube editor. I think I was only paying him like $1,500 a month, but it was for like 4 videos a month. And he was like, dude, you're paying me and you haven't sent me a video to edit yet. He was like, what's going on? And I was like, dude, to be honest with you, like, I can't stand talking about this anymore. Like, it's awful. Like, I hate it. And he was like, I get it, dude. Like, making content, you don't want it to be forced. Like, make a video about something you enjoy. And so this was in 2022. This was actually like one of my first like signs of like, maybe I should focus on something new. So I was like, what else like could I talk about that I think is interesting? I made about no code. Okay. Because I thought like, I was like the fact that I was able to start like a software being like, not like, you know, I wasn't wealthy at all at the time. So I was like, the fact that I was able to start something with like less than $2,000 is crazy to me.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And so like, I made a video on no code on my MacBook, Mac camera, Mac mic.
Yeah, Mac audio,
like,
everything.
Awful quality.
Yeah.
It's like fuzzy, like it's in like my parents' office.
I love that.
And I have less than 100 subscribers. And it was like the same thing. Like I posted it maybe like the first week, 2 weeks. YouTube's a little bit slower, obviously, but it got like 1,000 views. And I was like, wow, like this one's kind of like running. And then I remember looking in December and that video had hit like over 20,000 views and gotten like over 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah. Wow.
And again, that was like with basically no subscribers. So I was like, like people really care about this or think it's interesting and no one's talking about it yet. Like there's probably like, I don't know, less than 3 YouTubers talking about it at this time, at least that I'm familiar with. And so,
wow.
Yeah. And I was like, I really enjoy making this content. And then I was like, my Twitter audience at that time had totally followed me for all things sales, either becoming a closer, sales systems, hiring salespeople. So let me test this out on my Twitter where I had a couple thousand followers and I started talking about no code. And again, like engagement's through the roof.
Interesting. So even your audience is responding positively to this.
And so it's like,
that's so interesting.
And so every now and again, it's like, again, you get like a hunch, like you have like a gut feeling, you feel like you're getting a sign. And it was just like one of those. I was like, I really think like it's time for me to move on to this. I was like, I don't think I'm going to do this for the next 3-5 years. Like, I think there's something better coming. And that was just like gut feeling hunch.
Yeah. Okay. Because you can see the storm clouds brewing over here inside Closify with partner relations and expectations. And you're like, I'm not trying to build a company that I'm a slave to. Yeah. And then you, at the same time, you're seeing these sprinkles of opportunity, maybe a rainbow or a crack in the clouds over here. That's really awesome. I'm happy to hear that for you. So something I am super curious about. And that's so funny. Someone just walked in. A couple times throughout this podcast, you mentioned divine timing and having a hunch and a sign. Yeah. Is there, and we don't have to explore this if you're not comfortable with that on the internet, but what's that relationship like with something bigger than you? Is there a destiny element, a God element? What's there?
Yeah, it's definitely religion. I mean, I'll say like I'm Christian.
Okay, amazing. Same.
Yeah, like I'm a big fan of going to church. And it was interesting because I had never gone to church on my own will. Like it was always like the parents had you go when you were growing up type of thing. And I didn't like it, not because of any actual reason. It was just because I was a kid and I was like, I'd rather be outside with my friends than But
I don't hate God. I'm just distracted.
Yeah, and so it was actually funny because it was post exit, and I was like, "What am I gonna do?" And again, of course, like you have like all the. It was like that was the biggest decision I had made in my life was deciding to exit it. Yeah. And people would like dropping out of college. I was like, that wasn't a big decision. Like that worst case scenario was so unbelievably like not actually a bad situation. But anyways.
Yeah, I'm on the same exact boat.
And I was like, was this the worst decision of my life? Like, did I just like screw my future? Like, was I a one-hit wonder? Will I ever be able to build a successful company again? And that was like when I went to church in Miami for the first time that I'd ever gone on my own will. So that was sometime in 2023. I think it was around March.
Wow.
And then, like literally like, I mean, I can say like my life improved in literally every single facet after.
Yeah, it's real.
Every single one.
Yep. And the more you look for him, the more you find him.
Yeah.
That's wow. Yeah. I have such a ridiculously similar journey. I've stepped down as CEO of a relatively successful company last year. Yeah. In September, and actually it was December of 2023 that I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to church and like maybe do this thing. And then January, I was like, I'm going to start a Bible study. And like now this Bible study's taken off and it's like become like the thing that centers me in everything else. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, okay, this is real. I actually got baptized in Miami. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
It's happening. I'm curious with this, congratulations. And I think it's really underrated, especially as like young men, especially with a platform, like letting people know that that is a part of our lives and like, okay, this actually helps in business. It's like, it's so good for a lot of reasons. You go to church every week or most weeks you go to church. Do you have any daily spiritual practices or how do you kind of fit God into the business?
Yeah, so I did. I bought a Bible a couple months ago, and I don't really have any. The first thing I did was I did read Proverbs first, which is like people say there's not a handbook to life.
It's
like,
Proverbs.
Like Proverbs is like literally a handbook to life. Like it'll tell you how to live like every facet of your life. And again, if you follow it, it's like again, your life will be good.
Yeah.
So like that's like one thing, like read Proverbs, like literally a handbook to your life. Like your life will be good if you live your life according to how it's written in Proverbs.
And it was written by King Solomon, who the Bible considers to be the wisest man ever in history other than Jesus.
Exactly. So besides that, and I also like won't sit here and say that I haven't read it cover to cover. Like now, like what I'll do is I personally like this the best. I'll literally flip it open to a random page.
It's so good.
And it always like somehow, you find what you need to see, but I try to read a few pages every morning.
That's nice.
And then, pray before I go to bed. And that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the only time flipping to a random page doesn't work, I'll like flip open somewhere in the Old Testament and it'll be like, and then 44 hands of cubits of bees and beetles. And I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
But the New Testament is always like super applicable.
Yeah.
But Proverbs is next level, man. For a long time, Proverbs 27:17 is that as iron sharpens iron, man sharpens man. And I think about that literally all the time of like being able to, like the difference in being able to have a conversation like this or a conversation with a professional athlete about something versus having a conversation about like why someone can't pay rent. Or like what's going on with drama in a friend circle. And it's like, these are the type of conversations that inspire you to be a better human being. It's like, okay.
I'll share my favorite verse.
Please.
Romans 8:11. I'm going to paraphrase because I don't know word for word, but it's basically the same Holy Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead lives inside of you. So it's like if that lives inside of you, like dude, like what couldn't you do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always try to share that with people. If they're ever like, if one of my buddies is like ever like going through something like hard or even like I don't even know, dude. Even sometimes when I'm running, I'll think of it. You know what I mean? I'm like I'm dying. I'm like dude, like if the same Spirit that raised Jesus inside of you, like dude, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Come on now. Yeah. Amen to that, brother. What was it? Romans 8:11?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I think I love that we've just kind of gone down this faith tangent. But it's so cool. Like my buddies and I have started writing out prescriptive verses to things. So like Romans 8:11 would be great for like when you want to quit or when you feel weak. And it's like I've even started, one of my clients is not religious, does not believe in God. And he's like, dude, like I'm feeling unworthy and I'm struggling with this money identity.
Yeah.
And I was like, go read Malachi 3:10. And he's like, what's Malachi 3:10? I'm like, it's a verse in the Bible, go read it. And he read it and he's like, dude, that's radically transformed everything. And he's like, and I'm like, it's so applicable when you're just like willing to go to it.
Yeah.
That's such like even agnostically such a great instruction manual.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine, bro. It's like, just pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good stuff. And so your whole family's Christian too. So you grew up in a Christian environment.
Yeah.
Do you think, another thing, and I think we could probably wrap up with this. I'm super curious, like the balance between competitive identity of you've always grown up to be competitive, you hate losing, you want to win, you want to dominate in whatever you're doing, simultaneously like opening your heart to Jesus and saying, okay, I want to be a Christian. I want to get closer to God. How do you fit those two together?
Yeah, well, I think, so the way that I put it, and this is like, again, this is like all coming from like stuff that I learned like at church. Like one of the things like, God gave you skills and it's like when one like acknowledge that. And like when you get the fruits of your, from the skills that God gave you, like give the glory to God. And so like, that's one thing, but I think it's like, it is like my responsibility to utilize my skills. Like, I think that I'm really talented at a few things. I think there's a lot of things that I suck at, but I think there's a few things that like I am really good at. Like I think I am really good at content. I think I'm better at content than most of the people that teach it, most of the people that have content agencies,
yes,
like they were all hitting me up in 2023 asking how you grow so fast. You know what I mean? And so like, I think it's like, I have to grow my brand like as big as possible. And like, then I get to do cool stuff like this though. And when this is going to be on my platform, like we talked about God here and we glorified God here.
Yes. That's so good.
And so I think that's a big part of it. And so the other part that like I would say it helps is like, and especially like have lived in Miami where it's like such a materialistic place, is like, I really care about it so much less now than I used. Like I used to think that like, dude, I like wanted everything. Like, dude, like every material thing that you could probably like name off, like I probably wanted. And don't get me wrong, I still have nice stuff. Like I've bought quite a few material items.
Yeah, you dress nice, you wear a nice watch.
Yeah.
It's still good to have.
But I care about like, you won't see me buying like 5 watches just to have 5 watches.
Right.
Like
just
that,
to show everybody how good you are with all
like,
your watches.
You're not going to see me having like multiple cars. Like for me, and I'm not bashing anyone that does. Like if you like cars, you want to buy a ton of cars. Like that's awesome. Like you like cars, that makes you happy. That's cool. Like I do think like
for sure,
like buying a watch, whatever. But I will say having a fast car is pretty fun.
It's so much fun.
So like
what do you drive?
I have a Porsche Cayman.
Oh, let's go. Okay.
Yeah, so like
I love that.
I kind of get the hype behind cars. Like they're fun.
Yeah, for sure. I've got a brand new BMW M2 and it's man, it's like a go-kart.
Yeah, like they're fun.
How can you not enjoy?
But yeah. But so like I care a lot less about materialism. I care less a lot about even like trying to portray myself as someone that like I'm not trying to like portray any lifestyle. Like that's the other big part about like my social medias. Like you won't catch me posting lifestyle on my page. Yeah. Like you can literally go scroll and there's like nothing. There's no like mashup of me like at a club or like on a yacht or like whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Cause like whenever I scroll Instagram, like that's like all I ever tend to see. Even on YouTube, I was going through YouTube and my recommended feed was just every thumbnail was like someone flexing in front of something.
Yes.
Whether it was a car, whether it was their condo, whether they're on it. Like, I was just like, dude, like,
and you just want to see value. You're
like, so it's like, sauce. That's why like all my socials, like my rule has always been no lifestyle. I'm going to sit in front of a camera. I'm going to talk about software. I'm going to talk about whatever. And like,
I love that.
If people like, if they get it, they'll get it. If they're looking for me to post like some video of me like promoting the lifestyle that isn't me, like they can go find that somewhere else. You know what I mean? But like, you're not going to see like lifestyle marketing from me.
Yeah. I really can appreciate that. I think that's really interesting. I think something that just stood out to me while you're sharing that, like looking back on it, is it's like when you put your identity in God, what you're doing is like all these things, the watch, the car, the success, the business, the content, the personal brand, whatever it is, these things become like toys instead of where your worth is. Yeah. And so it's like, oh, like I did really good in business, or I made X amount of money, or I have X amount of cars. It's like, that's a fun little thing. Like, oh, look at me. I'm having fun in my sandbox. But then my worthiness is only in one thing, and that's Jesus. And so then it's like, you can actually, because for a long time, like first business I built, it was like, how good am I at like this thing? And that's who I was.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I also just want to point out, because I feel like I just remember when I was like, I hadn't made any money yet, but I was trying to. And I saw all these guys online, and they would show the lifestyle, right? And I saw it, and I wanted it. And like I like looked up to these guys, like, and I've met so many of them now, and I've even worked with a ton of them, which is like super cool. But I always thought, I was like, man, these guys are different. Like these guys either have to be crazy smart, crazy hardworking. Like I don't know, there has to be something different about them. And it's like not true at all. Like
they're just dudes.
They're just dudes. None of them are like, I mean, there are some that are exceptionally smart and like whatever. For sure. But like they worked hard for like multiple years in a row. Even I was like, just like even joking with some of the people over there. So I'm like the most normal like kid in the world. Yeah. Like I just like to play tennis, play pickleball. I go out with my buddies, all my same hometown. I didn't cut off any of my hometown friends. Like nothing more fun than like going out with my buddies. Like, yeah, I'm like literally like the most regular, like 23-year-old ever that just like figured out how to make a little bit of money and got a little following on Instagram and YouTube. For sure. And that's, I think, how it should be. It's like, okay, like I found an opportunity that works for me. I built something that's important to me. But I'm not like, I'm not changing who I am, or I'm not like, this is like the, you know, I have a lot of friends that are affiliated with the OnlyFans industry. And I'm like, my qualm with it is like, you're selling your personal beliefs, or you're selling your morals
for just money. And I'm like, what if you just found an opportunity that you could work hard in and be successful in while maintaining your relationships, your whatever else that is important to you. Right. Like I don't think it has to be one or the other. Yeah. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, I think we're all really excited to see what you come up with next, and stay tuned to the personal brand. Do you want to tease any of us with anything that you're currently working on, or some projects you're cooking up in the future?
Yeah, I've got 2 things that really excite me that I can truly see myself building for the next 5-10 years. And one of them is it's already like pretty public. Like I'm helping grow create.xyz. It's literally like text app. It can't build like a full software application yet, but like you literally tell it what to build and it'll build it. And you could like paste a screenshot. So like, for example, say you wanted to like you like someone's funnel and you want to like copy it and make your own tweaks. You can take a screenshot, paste it, it'll build it, and then you can just go tweak it.
Whoa.
Like, and it'll build it in like 30 seconds.
Whoa.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Built by these really, really smart guys. The product is advancing fast. Like, it's amazing right now for websites. It's amazing for prototyping your designs, building internal tools. Like, I built like a software idea generator, and it's like you have to enter your email to save the idea. So like, it's a great lead magnet for me. Yeah. Built it in 30 seconds. Really, really excited about that. I think, again, it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be very obvious. Like, of course, it's going to be a text-to-app future. Why would we waste all this time, money, whatever, paying developers, no-code developers even? So I think that's a very obvious play that I'm excited about. The other one is, again, maybe I'll like tease this a little bit more, but it'll probably be public by the time this comes out. I don't know. Is tech companies need creators. Like WAP needs creators.
WAP needs creators.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like they want creators badly. And we were talking about it. Brett was talking about it in the presentation this morning. The tech mode is gone. No, I mean, not entirely. Like, WAP's obviously done. They have a lot of tech, but for the most part, the tech mode is gone in the software industry. So it's like, how do you stand out now? Where's your edge? And it's distribution.
Yep.
And so tech companies are hiring creators to build up new social media pages that they own the rights to.
Yes.
And then they're building a content and distribution moat around their tech company. And this is the future, and I'm building in that space.
Yeah. Okay. That's very exciting to hear. And it's real, guys. Like the access to a community, the depth of a culture, and the ability to distribute whatever you have to that community. This is I'm on the exact same way. Like when Brett said that earlier, I was like so excited. And then you told me a little bit about what you're working on behind the scenes, and it's the future. Yeah. And it's like, it's so funny. It's like when I feel like, at least for me, this is my 4th time around the block when it comes to building a business. Yeah. It's like I'm starting to spot these things more faster. And I'm like, wait a second, this really is like you can see the waves farther out at sea. Yeah. Before they come in. So it's just exciting. That's amazing. So where can actually one final question for you before we wrap up. What identities or attributes, things that you have found throughout your life through professional tennis, through dropping out of college, building these other companies, are you going to carry forth while building these next couple of projects? Yeah, it's a like delusional amount of belief in yourself. Amen. Like you've got to be a little bit delusional, and really like fully in every cell of your body, like believe that you can do the thing that you're setting out to believe. I had no business even playing Division I tennis. Like I only got to play twice a week, and I started when I was like 12. You know what I mean? Everyone else started when they were 6 and played 7 times a week. Right. These people went to like training camps and like IMG and like all these other things. And I was just like this kid that played twice a week and would sneak out like to go play with a broken arm. Right. But you believed. And same thing, like when I dropped out and moved to Miami, like, I was making some money, but I had never had bills before. And then moving to Miami, an expensive place, put my roommate on salary, doubled the business expenses. If the business didn't grow, like I wasn't going to be able to pay myself. Right. But I still signed the lease and moved from Ohio to Miami because my business partner wanted me to. And I was like, I know I'll figure it out. Like every single thing that I've gone into, even when things get like really bad, you're just like, you'll figure it out. Right. Yeah.
And so I think if you have that belief in yourself, which
so necessary,
you build over time by keeping the promises you make to yourself.
Yes.
You'll always be good.
Yeah, that's the cookie jar, right? It's like, okay, let me find evidence to actually believe in this.
Yeah.
And then it's like, at least for me, it's like delusional, radical belief in self coupled with just unstoppable action, just violent execution. It's like, okay, I know I can do this thing, but I don't know how, so I'm just going to I'm going to thrash until I get there. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, thank you so much for coming out, Alex. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, bro. This is awesome.
Yeah, ton of fun. If you guys really want a second part, just go ahead and send me a message.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
All right, that's all. Thank you guys for watching. Where can they find you on social media if they want to get in touch?
Instagram's nocode.alex. And I think my YouTube's like alex.heiden. But if you search no code or Alex Heiden anywhere, you'll find me. Yeah, so go follow Alex on Instagram, nocode.alex. Thank you again for watching the BackTrack Podcast, and we will see you in the next episode. Peace.